At least I'm trying to go live. There we are. Okay, you know what? This happened yesterday when it went black on Facebook.
I wonder
I don't know
why. The enemy don't
why.
like me yet.
I don't know why. It went black, but it looked like it was still going. I don't know.
Hmm.
You see how it's still circling? But
Uh-huh.
anyway, y'all, I hope y'all can see us. Because every time I redo it like this here, see, when it reloads, it just, it goes away. I hope y'all can see us. Anyway, we're trying to get Facebook back up. We don't know what's going on here. We're going to try it again, y'all. We can't see y'all, but I hope y'all stay on here. Let's see. You see how it's acting? You see that? I really believe it's the enemy.
Me too.
Okay, y'all. It's accessing the camera. Okay. This is crazy. Y'all be patient with us on YouTube. Okay, because we're trying to see what the devil trying to do here. Did it yesterday, but for some reason it's still recorded, even though I couldn't see y'all. So I got it on public. Okay, go live. Okay, y'all. Here we go. Okay, it's showing us now. Okay, y'all please invite some others. Okay, there we are on YouTube as well.
Awesome.
I pray that you all, we don't see. Hey there, Prophetess Kimberly. She is so faithful. She's always there trying to support. Anyway, I want to say hello to any of you that get to see this later on. We're now on my couch.
That's all right with me.
On my couch. Okay, I'm so happy that we have on my couch. See, I think what it is, I think it's the session of the camera, because I'm sure you all probably can still see us. So we're gonna go back to YouTube Live so that at least we can see ourselves.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, this is just a Sunday evening girl chat, and we know Mother's Day is almost here.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, with my two, I think I've realized, and I know from therapist to therapist,
Hmm.
we go through sometimes some stuff that we don't even realize what we're going through.
Yes.
And I had to say to myself, physician, heal thyself. And so I realized because of the holidays, we go through these seasonal grief times.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize that I was going through a seasonal grief time with my son just went to prison a week ago.
Oh wow.
It devastated me. I mean, I found myself just shut in. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I found myself getting into a silent depression. And so I had to really, really realize, what are you doing here? You teach faith. You walk faith. What's going on with you? And so today, I believe that those mothers or those who may be going through with seasonal, different types of times in their lives when they just regret the holidays and whatever, but
Yeah.
mothers are special. And so today, I just wanted to say thank you for coming, knowing that Mother's Day is next week.
You're welcome.
I am glad that I have this beautiful smile, Evangelist Yneka. I'm going to say your name right, don't you say it.
Okay.
Hathorn.
There you go.
Hathorn.
Hathorn.
Why do I have Hathorn? What? It just looks like Hathorn.
It's pronounced so many different ways, and then it has several spellings as well.
Yeah, because I never seen it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I
right.
just said, Lord, let me just try to shoot it in my own. I had Hathorn. I was like, okay, this is
I
her
get all
saying when
those.
she get here. And so, y'all, welcome her. I'm just so glad that you came to share your story.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
your topic, we talked about, when I sent out my topics to people, I get they probably say, what in the world is she talking about? But I thought, I read a segment in your book.
Mm-hmm.
It truly amazed me. Um, when the way you prepared everything. I'm not gonna tell her story. Y'all gotta go ahead and tag some people and let them know you need to get on here. And guess what, Prophet Kimberly? Y'all need to hook up, okay? Because she's going to share a story that I know a lot of parents may not even realize that they themselves may be going through.
Mm-hmm.
When I met you, we met over at a domestic violence conference that they had you and I as a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, when you first met me or heard my story, what did you think about me? Because when I thought about you, I was like, oh my God. People always say, oh my God, I cannot even imagine. That's what I felt about you. So what, being a victor or overcomer, what about you? What did you feel?
Honestly, when I heard your story, it was the same. I was like, wow, like, oh my God. And then, sometimes as individuals, males go through it as well. And sometimes when we hear
what the problem
somebody else's story.
Y'all gotta excuse me because I gotta get this light on here. I see what one of the problems is. Keep telling your story.
Okay. When I met you as well, I heard your story. It was the same. I was the same way. Like, oh my God, like, wow, like, it was devastating. It was traumatizing. And sometimes we think that, I'm not going to say think, sometimes we feel that when we hear somebody else's story, that it can overpower our story. But that's from a personal perspective.
Sorry, y'all. Had to do that. Now it's a little lighter, right? It look like a little lighter. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little lighter. This devil try this every time we get on here. I hate him. Anyway, go ahead. Finish talking.
So when I met you, when I heard your story, because sometimes as individuals, when we hear somebody else's story, I've seen where it seems like that person may overpower another story, but we have to understand that when we have a story, God take us through something particular for a reason.
Yes.
So, her story wasn't meant to be my story, but all at the same time, from a personal perspective, that's your testimony. That's what God needed you to go through. That's what He needed to build you out of. So even for my story, that's what He needed to build me out of.
Yes.
Because I've heard women go through and men go through so many different things.
Yes. So just want to say Happy Mother's Day and just listen to her story and, sitting there before was my time. I think you came. Yeah, I came in after you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was really moved by what I read in your book, and let's then indicate what book we're talking about before you get into your story.
Okay.
We're talking about this book. Show it. Tell me what the name of it is.
So this book is called "What Is Your Locus?"
Yeah.
The Key to Defeating Darkness.
And so when I was in bed one night and I read, "What is your locus?" Tell them what did you mean by that when you said, "What is your locus?"
So the locust is those things that are swarming you. We got to remember that locusts come in the swarm, and locust doesn't have a king.
Yeah.
So when all those things that we don't set boundaries with and allow in our lives, they become our locusts. One person can come with a gazillion locusts. When we don't set boundaries, another person can come with a gazillion locusts. When we're not doing things and not being the best parent that we know we can be, those things have locusts involved. Sometimes the things our children go through can become our locusts. So in this particular book, those locusts was all of those things that was swarming me, that I was not giving to God, that I was not submitting to God, that was kind of overtaking my life. And some of it had overtook my life, including myself.
I apologize. It's just everything I forgot. I forgot to dial in so other people can get in to call in and everything else. It's just one of those situations that the enemy likes to try to do everything to try to hinder something good. But the locust, the segment that and then you were so sweet to give me a copy of this book. The segment that I looked in was talking about the way you prepared yourself for bed, the way you began to get the kids ready for what you were about to do. I mean, it left me like hanging, and I said, I'm sleepy, but I can't put the book down because I went on to read about what you actually did. And then your survival, it was amazing. Now we want to hear, and I'm sure they want to hear too, what was this survivor of him? Because me and you talked about that earlier on. They think they hear the Bible tells in Revelation 12 and 11, that we overcame him by the word of our testimony. Remember that as you listen to him, we got to know that greater is he that is in us than he, meaning him that's in this world. And so I'm just so moved by what happened. So you can start telling that story now briefly about what happened.
So in this book, when you read their preparation for bed, there wasn't your normal, well, I wouldn't say normal, but there wasn't a preparation. We finna put the kids down and give him a hug. That was a preparation to take my last breath.
My Lord.
That was a preparation to take my last breath. This book tells the entire story, how everything took place, from me making sure that my kids were asleep. They were comfortable. They had no idea what they was going to wake up to next. They had no idea what they was going to see, what was going to happen. They had no idea that their life was going to change.
My God. And how old were you at the time?
This was in 2012. So, because we came here in 2013, so I believe that was 2012. So 7 years ago.
My goodness.
7 years ago in I want to say November, December, January. I think that was March. I believe it was March.
Okay.
7 years ago, March.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have so many today who are contemplating suicide even now.
Yes.
You know, because of the seasonal affect disorder that comes in, like I described, wasn't anywhere near of wanting to end my life, but was in a very dark place that I felt that God had, you know, really let me down, that he didn't answer my prayer about my son. You know, why you haven't saved him before now. And so with you, what were you actually going through that made you make the decision? I know that because we're at a domestic violence program, was it something that you were going through in regards to domestic violence, or was this a deep, dark secret that nobody knew about that you?
I was going through a lot. So some of it was verbal abuse from a relationship that I was in.
Okay.
Now, you know, sometimes when we get that good man and he's whining and dining us, and this relationship included things that the last relationship didn't have. So the 10-year relationship that I got of, there was no violence. However, there was emotional abuse, and that emotional abuse was just feeling neglected, feeling unwanted. So that particular relationship, you know, the gentleman, crazy about his kids, crazy about the kids, love the kids, you know, no financial issues, anything like that. However, when it came to the kids wasn't a problem. I was the problem. So the relationship was more like a friendship than a relationship. And at some point after 10 years, not married, I realized that I was in a relationship for convenience. Like we were living like friends. So that was the beginning of it.
Yes.
I didn't realize that was the beginning of it until later when everything happened, the beginning of the depression.
Okay.
At the time I was going to school.
Okay.
And when I learned that that was the beginning of it, I was like, you know what? Yes, because I gained 30 pounds, emotional eating, staying up late, doing homework, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So that was a part of it. When I had my son, that is when the second spell of the depression came in.
Okay.
So when you think about the first relationship that I was in, some of the locusts, you know, started from there, living like a friendship, you know, convenience.
So you were like roommates then.
Yes.
So do you believe that depression, and instantly tell them what you're doing now? It's just amazing, because I would never think that all the hell I went through. I'd be trying to counsel anybody for that matter. So tell them what you do now.
So currently in my life, I'm a substance abuse counselor at one of the adult male prisons, correction facilities. I also work with women privately that are coming out of domestic violence.
Yes.
I work with males as well if it's substance abuse, domestic violence. I train other parents that have special needs situations.
Yes.
And that's just more so, not the child because I'm not licensed, but just more so. If mom is on the edge, you know, depression, don't know what to do.
Like arrested.
Dad don't know how to comfort, you know, mom, and trying to understand, hey, God, we wanted a child. Why did you make my child like this? So I do training in that area. I have my own publishing company.
I know, you told that. I mean, you show them books, how many you got. I'm so proud of you. I got like 20 something. People say, how do you get the right books? But wait a minute. You know, I'm single. I don't know about you. I tell people all the time.
That's why
I can do all these kinds of things.
That's why I can do all of this stuff. Yes.
Okay.
So we already introduced this one. What is your locus? The key to defeating darkness. And each of these books have assignments in it, assignments that I put in that God gave me that I actually had to do to get my life in order with the Holy Spirit. This one is faith. Faith means forever anointed in the heart.
Yes.
And it challenges you to take a look at the condition of your faith.
Good.
Because we have to have faith in every area of our life.
Yes.
The area that we don't have faith of is lacking. That means we're not depending on God enough in that area. This was the very first book. Now, I was going through the domestic violence when I wrote this book. Both of these books, yes. Okay. But this is a journal of truth in the beginning. And it has some of the testimony in it about, you know, my ex-husband and how my writing started. Keeping in mind that I've been writing since I was 10.
Me too.
But that was a time that I went and threw mine in the garbage.
Okay.
And God
mine started out with poetry. What about you?
It started out with writing. And I had some poetry as well.
Okay.
And God said, no, go get it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm walking around the house and God, I don't want to.
Yeah.
He said, go get it. I said, I don't want to. So I went to the garbage and I got it. And I just kind of threw it on the counter because I was angry, bitter, depressed, really didn't want to deal with it. So it's just some of this collected dust for a really long time.
We're gonna tell at the end how they can get them books. Now let's talk. Now let's talk about that. Speed back up to what happened in regards to the abuse, because I know that was a big factor. You know, a lot of us overeat. I know I do, especially when I'm mad. I'm going to eat and crunch things. But what happened beyond the overeating? Did he actually stay in the house with you and abuse you? Tell that story for those who may be listening. Yes.
So during the time of my marriage, we were living in the house together.
Okay.
We were living in the house together. One of the things, that saved me, because I was already walking with God during the time, a lot of this stuff. And that was the thing, I held God's hand. I wouldn't ever give in.
Yes.
And this particular person, I would always talk to him and I would tell him, look, God is taking me somewhere. God is taking us somewhere. I wouldn't just say, I wasn't selfish, but I would tell him, you're not going where God is trying to take us if you cannot change your life.
Right.
And he would say all the time, oh, I want it and I'm going to change and I'm going to do this. And when I tell you, outside of me, I know because of my faith as well, not boasting, God sent us everything and everybody we needed.
Yes.
From, individuals to the church, pastors. And I say that like that, and I don't mean just anybody, and I don't mean a lot of people. So we got to be careful when we use that word. A lot.
I know that's right.
A lot means the 3, 4, or 5 individuals that was on our side trying to help him.
Yeah, because you have a whole bunch of people in your face and do not really care about you. They just nosy. I call them peoples and haters and fakers.
And those individuals I had boundaries with.
Yes.
So I had women that were still on my side, sisters in Christ. And then, God introduced others, through that, males, to help him. And it got to a point where he would actually manipulate and use them and lie and say, oh, well, I had a meeting, with such and such, and the pastor said this and the pastor said that. So I kind of got to a point where I stopped calling and following up, just trying to build it. You know what, God, you got this. I'm going to let it go. You got it. But I tell you what, I'm going to go through the suffering. I'm not going to throw my marriage in the garbage can. I'm going to give him the opportunity and I'm going to let you deal with it. But you tell me when I can walk. And I would tell God, I'm tired. I can't do it. I'm tired. And God would tell me, baby, not yet. Baby, not yet. Baby, not yet. And I remember one time that I almost gave up. And this guy that we met, he actually contracted him with him on some buildings and stuff that he was doing.
So he was a contractor.
Yes.
Okay.
So at that point he started traveling with this individual, be gone 2 to 3. So that saved some of it, because at that point I could worship, I could pray, like the house was just in peace. I was ignoring
those times.
Whatever spirits came in or whatever was broken. The kids would be at school, because at this time I wasn't working an external job. I was operating my ministry. My counsel ministry and my books. So I would just, just go through the house, salt water, everything, just do the work.
Yes.
And when he come back, and there would be times when, it was peaceful. And then
he noticed that, because I know mine did. He was like, "What you been doing in here? What's that smell?"
I
want that.
Yeah, he did. Because he would walk in, and then sometimes, because I'm an observer and I'm also a visionary, I would pay attention to his eyes. And when he would walk in, like I could see his, his eyes.
You could tell the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, it's quiet in here." And he was like, "You okay? You okay?" I'm okay. I'm asking the side, "Are you okay?" Because I know what you finna walk in.
Yeah, you finna come in here with this hell, and I done cleansed this house.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm like, God is present. The Holy Spirit is present. I always tell him, I'm always about to call his name. Let me back up.
Yeah,
but I was
no name.
right. And I would tell him, I would say, God is always present. The Holy Spirit is present. And I will tell him, God has really blessed us with something.
Yes.
And this ministry is not going to be not fulfilled because you're not choosing to do what God is telling you to do. He's giving you the people. He's giving you the resources. So it's not us, it's you. You're not listening.
That's right.
And I told him, I've raised my kids because they're not his kids.
Right, okay.
But they were still minors. They're still minors.
Okay.
My kids have certain things, and I'm not going to let you break them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let them develop certain habits. And I'm telling them, look, if you can't get this right, I got to go. And God is not going to allow me to stay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm going to always love you. But God is not going to keep me in the midst of this. I can't operate in the ministry like that.
God.
And I actually got kicked out of a ministry
because of that,
his behaviors.
Oh my God! Now tell me what happened when you made a decision that, I'm not going to stay anymore. Is that when the suicide attempt came? Because now that I'm going through the actual aggressive verbal calling, harassing me type of thing, where you didn't feel like you have a life of your own anymore. Is that what made you want to go there?
Well, my suicide attempt was before.
Oh, it was before him?
It was before he
I thought it was
existed.
like doing him. So what made you feel like that? Did you think like it was a voice telling you? Because I know I went there. I wanted to kill myself.
Suicide
attempt. But I want to kill my kids too,
I was so down and out. I mean, I knew God. I grew up with God. Sung in the youth choir, did all those things. I was aware of God, but I wasn't living a godly lifestyle.
Yes.
Wasn't ever promiscuous or anything like that. But clubbing, alcohol.
Same here.
I was in a 10-year relationship. When I got out of that relationship, when I finally closed that relationship out, I went into another relationship. So the suicide came, the depression, which led up to the suicide. Okay. It came from being with a man 10 years, not being married. Getting in another relationship that felt good, but he did everything the old one didn't. But you wanted me, but you didn't want the kids because you didn't want to raise children.
Yeah, I didn't want to raise no other man's children. Yes. You get that.
Working full time. Yes. I was writing books at the same time when I got out of a 10-year relationship. We moved into a new house. Something I really didn't have the mental or the financial space for, but I wanted to get from under that old 10-year relationship because everything was like so tied together. So once I knew that I was done with it and I was going to leave,
yes,
I felt some type of freedom. Like I just felt like I wasn't enclosed, I wasn't stuck. Yeah. So I was determined to just get away. Got away, got another relationship, and we know when a man wine and dine, out of town, leaving little gifts, at work and dropping stuff off and, got the keys to your car, leaving something on your car.
Leaving something on the car and all that. Yeah, I don't know. So I might try to have too.
Now, he would take care of the kids like behind closed doors, but like hands on. Okay, kids hanging out.
Go ahead.
But hands on as far as like me and the kids hanging out. It wasn't like that. Like, me and him would hang out. So that was depressing. Moving into the new house was depressing. I never got the house together, never got the boxes unpacked. I was working full time. I was going to school full time. And at that time, my son was also going to a lot of therapy. So my schedule was just therapy, doctor's appointments. My daughter had basketball, soccer, baseball, praise dancing. I was on the special needs educational board. So, man, I was doing like 50 things.
Let me jump in here with that then, because I know you mentioned that you have a special needs son. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that some of that, the overwhelming not having that need that pressed you into doing this type of ministry too, to try to give them care and our understanding of what it feels like to go through those mental challenges, having a special needs child?
Yes.
Do you think that may have triggered some of that, being alone in that?
Yes, because what happens is when you have a special needs situation, it can be a youth, it can be a elderly person. It definitely soaks up your time. There's a lot of consistency that has to be done. There's a lot of discipline that has to be done. There's a lot of structure that has to take place. And then the thing is, like, your time is not your self-time. It's not ever your self-time until that person is, maybe down for bed or kind of doing their own little thing, which may be about an hour or two, because by the time that hour or two gone, it's, restroom, lunch or dinner, getting ready for school, whichever one that it is. Yes. So that definitely motivated me. And briefly, when my son went through La Bonheur Children's Hospital, because we was in Tennessee.
So that's when you came from Tennessee here.
Right.
Okay.
I was nominated for the Special Needs Board when I didn't even know I was nominated.
Okay.
Because for me, I don't know. I was always that parent. I guess that was that part of me that was like, either I was going to be the parent that I needed to be, or the baby was going to fall and be neglected. Yes. And I was already in the career that I'm in right now. I was already in mental illness.
Okay.
And the adults that suffer from co-occurring or just a mental disorder, That's what I saw, where they was lacking so many things,
Okay.
Or lived the lifestyle that they lived because they didn't have that parent, or
Right.
they were just neglected, or they kind of left them, or parents not knowing about the resources, not knowing how to get in the resources, getting overwhelmed from fighting with the state. There's so much stuff that comes with that territory.
Yes, indeed.
And I was a fighter. I was a fighter for my baby. We had court cases that I actually had to do over the phone because I couldn't leave my job.
Oh my God.
And they allowed me to do conference calls, and we won every last one, I believe, except for 2.
Praise God.
Because I was just,
Yeah. But let me ask you this. When it comes to suicidal attempts, I know that there is a voice that speaks to us. I know it did to me, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in like a trance. I don't know about you. I was in this trance that I didn't realize I was in until the phone rang.
Mm-hmm.
Call the kids in the house like the voice told me to do. You're worthless. Nobody wants you. Look at your face.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you. You're 20 years old. Nobody wants you. They only want you for sex. You know that you're having a hard time. You need to kill yourself and these children too.
Mm-hmm.
I called the kids in the house, and the phone rang. Just when I got the gun, the phone rang, and it was my mom, and she said these words that snapped me out of it. What you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And the kids looking at me like, why we can't go back outside? Why we can't go back outside? I'm just out of it.
Yeah,
At what point do you feel that before you entered that bathroom that I read in the book, I want you to share those steps so people can hear.
Okay.
What do you believe that trance was doing to you leading up to you taking those pills and getting prepared to kiss your kids goodnight for the last time you thought?
Mm-hmm. So one of the significant things I've learned about depression, you have the black box, you have the trance, and then you have the isolation.
Okay.
And what sometimes individuals, until it's explained from a different perspective, individuals don't identify the difference between the black box and the isolation.
Tell me about the black box, because I went straight to the trance part. I know, because I didn't know about the black box. Okay, I didn't know about the black box because it just happened suddenly. Okay.
So that black box is when the black box, and it's a case by case basis.
Okay.
My black box was I could still go to work and function.
Okay.
I was still smile unless you know me or knew what was going on with me. You wouldn't know the difference.
Okay.
The kids were still taken care of, fed. But that black box it was more of like you're doing all of these things, but you're not hearing the individuals that are encouraging you and complimenting you. Okay. So you're in this you're in this black box. Now in this black box you can operate in society.
Like functionally,
right.
You're gonna go on.
Right. Okay. So what that means is mentally you're in a black box. Okay. So you can say, oh, Miss Hathorn, you doing so good, that smile so pretty. You're going to think I heard you, but I didn't hear you because I'm mentally in that black box.
I was in the isolated stage, which means what? I was where then?
Right.
When I isolated, I was in the black box then? Because I had isolated and
so
then.
So you was in a trance. When the individual's in a trance, that's when they kind of shut down. But I was headed to the trance.
Okay, you headed to the trance. Okay.
Right. When the individual's in a trance, it's like, I don't want to get up. I don't want water. I don't want food. I don't want to play with the kids. I don't want to go anywhere.
I just told them to go away. Go away.
Yeah. And I've seen individuals where they don't want to drink water because they don't want to go to the restroom. They don't want to get up and go to the restroom.
That's correct. So I didn't want to compare nothing.
Yeah. Because in that black box, you'll still socialize. You may answer the phone. You may send a text. You may post something on social media. But when it gets to that trance, which is where I did get to, you're not going to do those things. Okay. So I was headed towards that trance. Okay. Now, however, me keeping in mind that we had moved into another house, so I know I needed that money for the kids and the food. Okay. So there was certain things that wouldn't allow me to go into a full trance. Okay. But when I got home from work, I was in that trance
again. Okay.
Yes, because I didn't want to do homework. I didn't want to clean up. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, the kitchen, man, the kitchen
wasn't really a kitchen, right?
No, that kitchen.
But I was a cleanaholic. People thought I was crazy.
I don't even know what to call it, man. It was like that kitchen was I don't know the word for it. That kitchen was like a junkyard.
Oh my God!
From dishes to food to like that kitchen.
It didn't even faze you?
No. And then when you walk in, like you could smell it, but however, I had got used to the smell. So, but that smell was more like the smell was more like, dishes and stuff not being washed, kitchen not being mopped, stuff like that. But it's like and stuff was still in boxes as well. So it's like everything just had piled up and cluttered. And nobody knew because we didn't have any visitors. We had just moved into a new house.
Yes.
And when the kids' dad, like, he would come and pick them up or whatever, he would just pull up outside and they would go on. He didn't see anything. He had no idea. Nobody had no idea. My job at that time, I've been on 3 years. Nobody had no idea. They just thought when I got to work, I was just little, happy, white, nothing going on, except the person I was in the relationship with at that time that knew what was going on with me. He knew because I would share with him, I'm irritated or, just whatever's going on with the baby, how hard it was. Comfort, material.
Things to try to make you feel more worthy of yourself and that you are that. Mm-hmm. You are. Now speed up and talk about what happened then, because I think we are jumping around, mm-hmm. but I think they do need to know some of these things that we have went into. I believe Holy Spirit is doing it because somebody's listening who may be dealing with a parent, mm-hmm. who may be dealing with a daughter or a son, a loved one, that could be in this trance even now, mm-hmm. talking on the Facebook, leaving these messages to hope that you would take these trails and help me, because usually they do make a sign of help.
There is a sign.
Yeah, so tell us, lead us up to after that kissing the kids goodnight.
Okay.
And what happened?
So, normal day at work, came in. And the thing about it was when I got in that evening, I already knew what I was going to do. So my thought process had already started to parent before I had even got off work.
Okay.
So my thought process went that far back as far as preparation. When I got in from work that evening, and I remember just like I had my laptop and some more stuff, and I set it down in the living room floor. My living room floor was empty besides a couch or something box over there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I remember this was the new house, and I remember just looking around the house like, God help me. And I remember in that moment I told God, I said, I'm tired.
Yes.
I said, I'm tired.
Oh my God.
I said, I'm tired. I said, I can't do it anymore.
That's what I did. Look at those plans. I used to bring them to the shop.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I remember
the last one. That's why.
Okay. Now some of these tears are tears of joy, but I remember telling God, that I'm tired. I said, I can't do it anymore. And when I looked around the room and there were boxes here, boxes over there, the kitchen was a mess. I think I laid my schoolwork on the dining room kitchen table or something. So I'm looking at that, that waiting on me. My son was in his room watching TV. He mm-hmm. was waiting on me for his bath and all of that stuff. My daughter she had just came in from a soccer game, so she waiting on me to tell me how her day was at homework. So I went through my normal routine, got mm-hmm. the kids situated, got the baby, I got them situated, and but during this whole time, and the difference in this particular day is when I got the kids situated, I rushed it.
Okay.
I rushed it because I was ready for my preparation. Yes. I rushed it. Okay. And that rush looked like, okay, EJ, you got your cartoon, you had your bell, baby. Yes. It's bedtime. Just watch a movie. Mama come check on you later.
Okay.
My daughter, same thing. I rushed it. So I told my daughter, I said, well, I'm gonna go soak in the tub and I'll mm-hmm. check on y'all after a while. And it was early. I think it was probably about 8:30 around this time.
Okay.
So I think I waited about 30 more minutes to say, God, just let my kids be asleep. Just let them be asleep. Give me some more time. So in that mindset, like, I wasn't even trying to pray. I wasn't trying to worship. Like, it was just over.
Yes.
So I actually got, I didn't even get like whatever clothes I was going to put on after the tub because it was like, why get clothes? Like that's how irrational my thinking was. Yes. So I got the pills. I set them by the tub. I got my water. Set it by the tub. Whatever I need. I got my little notepad so I could write my letter. I did a full preparation for everything in the bathroom. Ran my water and I said, but I'm gonna soak for a minute. So I'm gonna soak for a minute. And I'm just go ahead and take out. And I remember going in the bathroom. And I wrote the letter. And I actually remember some of the things that this letter stated. And I was stating, who I wanted to get my kids, what I wanted to happen with my kids, what I wanted to happen with, my books and my stuff. like my thinking was just all the way irrational. And I remember saying in the letter, as far as my son, that his goddad was the only person that could get him because he was the only one that was familiar with the type of care that he needed.
Yeah.
So I wrote the letter, laid the letter by the tub on the rug to make sure it didn't get wet.
Yeah.
Like I was very, very careful that no water got on this letter. Yeah, like I wanted them to be able to read what was going to happen to the babies. So even though I wasn't willing to be there anymore, I wanted to make sure, that it was okay. I told them where the money was, how much money. I told them everything. And I got over in the tub and I said, okay, I'm going to give about 30 more minutes because I think I heard my son twisting and turning. So I remember him doing something, but that wasn't enough to pull me out the bathroom. Pull you out, my Lord. And we had a lab. We had a therapy dog, a lab that I had trained for the baby. And normally the lab would come lay in the bathroom. If I let him in, or he'll kind of lay at the door. I could hear him at the door. So I even made the lab. I put him in my room and closed the door so he wouldn't know any better. Anyway, I got in the tub. And I remember laying back, closing my eyes, just crying. I asked God, I said, I'm tired. Like, what do you want me to do? I said, we have a whole lot of verbal support, but there's no physical support.
Yes, baby, I know where you're coming from.
I said, I can't keep doing this.
Yes, Lord.
I said, I'm doing some good things. And I said, God, and I remember having this full conversation with God, and then the conversation just stopped. It just ended. And I said, you know what? It's no need of a conversation. So I took, now these were 500 milligram extra strength sleeping pills, the 60 count.
My God.
And I took 15 first.
Oh my God.
I took 15 and I lay back in the tub. The 15 weren't working fast enough. Now I remember the time that wasn't working fast enough. I took 15 more.
Oh,
like I actually sat there and counted to make sure it was 15. They weren't working fast enough. So I took the next 20. I added some more.
Oh my God.
So I took 20. Still wasn't working fast enough. And it was so crazy because after I took those, it was kind of like I just couldn't stop thinking. I was still thinking.
Go ahead, keep talking.
I was still thinking what's going to happen with the kids. I'm still thinking about finance. I'm still thinking about not being a good mother. Just thinking all of these things. So at that point, I took another 15. By the time I took those 15, one of my coworkers, because I also was the substance abuse counselor on 24-hour call that weekend. So one of my coworkers, he man, God is so good. He paged me about a client that had did something up there, or whatever. And that was the one thing I forgot was to turn the phones and the pagers and take the batteries out. So when he paged me, I texted him back, and I was angry. Then the medicine had started kicking in, so I took the phone apart. I took my phone apart and threw it in the toilet. I took the pager apart, and then the pager, you just have to slide the thing across, take the battery out of the pages, and I just threw it across the bathroom floor. So I said, you know what? And I was still functionable enough to take some more. I went all the way out there.
That was a lot of pills.
So I took the rest of the bottle.
Daddy was not gonna let it happen.
I took the entire bottle.
Oh my God!
I took the rest of the bottle. I took the rest of the bottle. 60 of them. All 60. And I just laid back in the tub and I said, God, let your will be done.
Oh my God.
And some reason I never did go under the water because I had a tub full.
Oh my God.
Some reason consciously, even though I had took all those pills, I was like going in and out. But at the time I was going in and out. Now then I was unconscious because everything was blurry. I really couldn't think, and that's what I wanted. But I would find myself, kind of out, and I would just see nothing but darkness, and I would kind of come back to a little bit. So when I know anything, I heard my loud barking at the door, and somebody lifted me out the tub.
That's the last thing you remember.
That was the last thing I remembered.
But that is amazing how God would do things. Had my mom call me, and I don't know if I never told her what I did. I never told her that I was trying to kill the kids. And I just said, I don't want to talk. It's just I don't want to be here or something. And then I think she sent someone to the house to check on me. Because I had isolated myself. So I guess she's saying, Sandy don't sound right. Y'all need to get over there. See what's going on. But I really think just this story alone, based on what you have described, I think a lot of you listening now, I'm sure you might want to say, well, okay, this has happened, this is over.
Mm-hmm.
So what now? What benefit? I mean, what Sir Victor or overcomer message is coming out of this? But I believe that what God wants for you to do is kind of give them an understanding of they need to know that there is hope and there are organizations out there that can help them. Can you share with them some places that they can go? And then we want to open it up to anybody that wants to text us. Now, y'all on Facebook, I can't see it. It won't let me see y'all. I don't know why. So if you want to get on the conference call line, you got a question for my guest. I'm speaking with Evangelist Yneka Hathorn. Hathorn. And she's going to share some things. If you got any questions for her, please text me. Please chat here on YouTube or talk to me on Facebook. Hey, I can't see y'all. I pray y'all are there because we can't see nothing. The screen
We
is
can't
black.
see nothing. It's all black.
We just hoping that y'all are seeing this live, okay? And so, but anyway, if y'all got anything, jump on the conference call line, and the number is there. And then go ahead and let me know if y'all got any questions for my guest. I tell you, I know people are watching that need your help, that may even need to know more about how to get your books, how to get to talk to you in regards to special needs populations. Okay. I'm one of them. Would love for you to come on and talk on my mental health channel.
Yes, ma'am.
And discuss more about that particular topic. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Because there are a lot of people who need just simple respite care time for their loved ones to be able, especially the caregiver,
yes,
to be able to help. So share where they can get the help. What it is that you think that after you went through, because did you ever have to do self-medication before when you were going through depression? You went through that. What about substances? Because I know I did a lot of Tylenol PM and things like that. Ultimately, it tried to destroy my liver because I did a lot of things that would put me to sleep. How about you? Share with them some of those things that we find ourselves self-medicating and what we need to do to get the help we need.
So I was self-medicating. After a time period, I continued to self-medicate to go to sleep at night. And the sad thing was my self-medication was pills and alcohol.
Oh, mine too.
Pills and wine. So that's one thing. Outside of the medications that, the doctors had gave me.
Okay.
And that part was kind of crazy because one of the doctors, I remember, he wasn't even supposed to be my doctor, but briefly his doctor ended up being my doctor, retired, the other one out of town or something. And he told me then, he said, there's nothing wrong with you. He said, you just need the help, so I'm not giving you any more medication.
Oh my God.
So I don't know if that doctor, was a Christian or whatever. I went in the mind frame to ask. But he told me there was nothing wrong with me. I just needed some help. And that I also needed to eat 30 things instead of 60.
Oh my God.
So yeah, the self-medication and what I did was it was hard. It was hard. This wasn't and the thing is, we want a quick fix. We want to start taking the medication. We don't want to go to the appointments. We don't want to face, the shame and the guilt and talk about, what happened, what led up to that point. And those are the things that I had to do. But those also were the things that led me to the point where I didn't need the medication anymore.
Yes.
When I got to the point where I could talk about it, laugh about it and go into the psychiatrist. And that's the thing, the mind frame, TV, society got this thing when you talk to psychiatrists, you need medication.
Yeah.
No, when I got to the end of speaking with my psychiatrist, I was no longer medicated, but I still needed that person to vent. I needed to get that stuff out from somebody that wasn't going to be judgmental.
Exactly.
Somebody that wasn't going to be telling my business. Somebody that wasn't going to be just talking up the left side of their neck to get rid of me. I needed to get all of that toxic out. And it was the locusts. I need to get all them locusts from around me. Yeah, and it was from, the broken relationships, people that were still within my territory, things that I was doing myself.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Do you think that a lot of that, too, as you were going on with those things about self-medication, because, we as women and the Christendom, we have a tendency, let me see what YouTube is here. It went away, did it?
I think you just
okay. We're in the Christendom. We find ourselves. I just did a teaching on wine beverages. Did you get a chance to listen to that one?
Not yet. I'm gonna go back and listen to it.
We tend to want to use the wine as our relaxation, and we over drink it. Yeah. I mean, I had wine coolers, so I think wine is a little stronger than wine cooler. And so I had wine cooler taking what I had prescribed medications.
Yeah.
I know I'm talking to somebody prescribing during my time, still fighting PTSD from the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I was, given the Valiums. I had Valiums galore. I think I probably
forgot
was
what
selling
the name
them.
of mine was, but my drink was margarita. And
yours margarita. Okay.
It was margarita, but check this out. I also would get like the little mini vodka shots.
Oh my God.
And I would pour it over in the margarita, and I had every flavor you could think of. Like that was my coping mechanism at night when I couldn't sleep. And this was even after the suicide attempt. I was still doing stuff to self-treatment.
Well, this self-treatment, and based on what you described so far, and getting the people to get some help that they need, because you and I both can attest to, it also dealt with a great factor of rejection and isolation. Yes. I mean, being alone and thinking nobody's going to want me with this face. I just subjected myself to believe it and decided that I'm going to self-medicate through sexual appetite, be with different men to make me feel like I'm wanted. And then when I knew that it's going to sex, then I revert back to my pills and my drinking alone. Did you find yourself there in some way to help other women that they could be going through those times?
I think with that, because of the way I raised, I was a female that really didn't like germs.
Yeah, okay.
I should be saying that word, but I didn't really like germs when it came to men's. So being raised a little different with that. Yeah. So I didn't really have too much of an issue as the sex
was going on.
Yeah. But mine was mostly the alcohol, the pills, the clubbing. Now short, tight clothes, but I was an enticer.
That's what I was doing. Yeah. I just want to tease you.
I won't let it go as far as the sex, but I was an enticer. I'm going to get your number. I'm going to dance with you. I'm going to play with you. I'm going to do all of that.
But you're not going to sleep with me.
Right.
But that's why I got a lot of violence from me. So. Because you're making me want to hurt myself because you're not, getting into what I'm trying to do here. I want to play with your mind. Yeah. Because I don't want you, because I know you don't really want me with this face. So I want to make you believe that I want you. So it was a mind game.
And it was a filler. It was a filler.
It was.
And that's very, very important when it comes to women today, because it was like that was my void. If I got dressed, I went to the club, went dancing or whatever. Just knowing that I could pull 25 guys in the night or get your phone number, whatever it was, like that was my filler. So I go home happy, get my pills, get my wine. Did you have other
clothes you knew was gonna work?
Right, I had them all. I knew it was gonna work.
I knew it was gonna work.
I knew it was gonna work.
Yeah. Yep. So tell them now who they can get a hold to, where they should consider going, because we know there's a lot of suicide prevention hotlines out there and all of that. But tell them some places that you may have experienced that are good places, because like you said, a whole bunch of this psychological jargon is not helping people. It makes them feel like they are crazy, and many of them say, well, I might as well leave here. What do you can give them some places that you may have experienced, and tell them about your books and how to reach you to get a copy of your books?
So let's talk about the depression first. For the depression, if it's somebody you're suffering from depression, I'm sure that it is, because we tend to forget that depression can be subtle just as well. Yes. I would encourage you, if you still have if you're that person and you're in a place where you still have at least a little bit of strength to reach out, I would encourage you to reach out. Let somebody know that is going to help you, because it's real easy for us to verbalize, call different people. I'm depressed. Look, I need some help. I'm frustrated, but it's hard to say, baby, like, I'm depressed. I need some help. Like, I can't do it. That's the hard part. But we also got to make sure that it's somebody that's practiced active listening, because people hear you doesn't mean that they're listening. That's correct. So we want to make sure that it's somebody that is practiced active listening. We all know, Google is a guru. Call the 411 line. Those resources actually do work. Call the 411 line. Let them know that you need to connect with a support group. And keep in mind that when you call these lines, they don't know you. They don't know how old you are. They don't know what color you are. They don't know where you live. They don't know your confidentiality if you were about to shame and guilt, somebody judging you. You're just calling to get the information. To get in touch with me, you can reach me on my email, which is newlevelpc@gmail.com. You can email me there. For the books, if it's someone that's local, I always have some on hand. But some people prefer Amazon. They're also on Amazon, so it'll be either local through me or you can order them on Amazon. Special need resources, same thing. You can email me at thenewlevelpc@gmail.com if you need some assistance with that. Now, keeping in mind that I'm not a case manager, and I really don't. I kind of try to stay away from fees because I like to keep God in it first. But I would ask you for a general donation. That just helps me to keep doing what I'm doing, publishing my books, reach out to others. We may travel somewhere. And coming up, I'm actually about to start. So email me if you're interested. newlevelpc@gmail.com. I have a special needs support group that's going to be coming soon. I'm actually thinking about when the kids go back to school in August, starting around that time frame because right now it's vacation.
I know you heard that, Kimberly. Let me check. Kimberly, you got hooked up with Kimberly because she's over here. She got a couple things she's saying here too. She said, "Why do you believe God allowed you to live?" And she said, "My son was 19, and I always wondered why God allowed him to die." She finally said, here, let me make sure I'm looking at all her comments. She said, "I know there is a greater purpose behind my son's death." She said, "But I still struggle," which is so true. Yes. That's why I want y'all to get together, you know, just being with someone who's experienced it versus someone who is experiencing in a loved one. I believe there's a great connection for you all to get together, especially in talking about those different levels that you can help with in the emotional realm. Because a lot of times when people know you, it's hard to talk to them about some things. Sometimes people think that you're going to judge them. Right. That's why I don't recommend referring people to people for getting some counseling or some support when they know one another. It's not good because it's very difficult. Right. But when you don't know them, now you have an opportunity to learn them and to see what God is sticking to you for that individual without any judgment, just for what God is sharing. Right. And so that's what Kim has to say. That was what she just said, that she wanted to know that, you know, I know there's a great purpose behind my son's death, but she still struggles. Is what she said. We can't see what y'all are saying on Facebook.
And let me tell her, and Kimberly, I'm sure, you know, I've met several families that have happened to. You know, I definitely be lifting your family up in prayer, but it's also that, you know, sometimes when we make decisions, you know, in my particular situation, you know, well, I didn't tell briefly. Okay. When I remember being lifted out of the tub, what happened was when I text my coworker back about the client that had gotten in trouble, did whatever, he knew that was not normal. So my coworker was the one that sent the help to the house with the dolls and, you know, my lab. So I just remember the medics lifting me out of the tub. You don't even
know what you said.
Because I don't even know what I said. They said I texted a whole bunch of gibberish that didn't make sense.
Oh, and my
them
God.
Knowing me, they knew that was not a mishap, something was wrong.
But Daddy allowed you to answer that. Daddy God did when I was with Daddy. He allowed you to type that stuff so that the help can get there in time.
So keeping in mind, Kimberly, and anybody else that's still suffering that may have had that to happen to them, keeping in mind that I wasn't in a trance and I wasn't isolated. I was just in a black box. Sometimes if it's the person that's in a trance or they're isolated, those are the ones that may not survive because they have already isolated from everybody. So with society, the day that we live in today, they can quickly think, oh, they're just saying we're here from tomorrow. You know, it can be not saying that that's your son, right? Right, but it can be, you know, different things. That's why I always say, you know, a case by case basis. And I'm lift your family up in prayer. You know, sometimes we make those decisions too. You know, it's just like the one that I made. You know, even if I hadn't survived, you know, that was something that I did. You know, my kids, until they learn better, would have hope that they wouldn't have blamed that on God because I did that and I made those preparations.
But how is your daughter doing now? Because you have one older daughter now and you have one younger son, right?
Right.
So how is your older daughter doing now with knowing your truth?
She's doing really good now. We have an awesome relationship. You know, there are some things that God is still, you know, working out in it. You know, it's not all the way there, but it's definitely much better than what it used to be.
Good.
And she, you know, she carries herself as a, you know, a child of God at this point because I changed my life being a role model. But I would definitely say after, there was a whole lot of hurt. There was a lot of healing that had to be done from, you know, counseling to the works. You know, we definitely had to reach out because she was so angry that I couldn't reach her alone. So it kind of left me with no choice but to reach out. You know, and because she was, And I'm not talking about no small angry. She was like way
yeah.
up here
Oh yeah,
angry.
oh yeah. I
So I
understand
had to
that.
deal with some
I
behaviors.
understand that.
And my son, he really didn't know any better. So it was just,
Yes, he's a special needs child,
right.
so he really doesn't know
Right.
that in that respect to
Right. He
understand it
just
in that
loved mama
respect.
regardless. And
Yes.
yeah.
But I pray that those that have seen this tonight, I pray that God will allow you to at least share this. This is Sunday evening with my special guest, Evangelist Yneka Hathorn.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm just so excited. She is an author. She is one who does a lot of social action work. We regret that our lighting is not acting right, and I know why now because I didn't position my camera right on the particular video cam that I was going to be using. I realized now it's not the light, it's the video cam that I did not position right. So I pray that you all, regardless of what you see here on this lighting, that you share this video, please. This is one for such a time that we're in right now that I know that God wants to use. This is one for you. I want to let you know that I honor you, woman of God. I honor you, Sir Victor. I honor you, overcomer. You are a mighty woman of God, and these are the types of women that I like on my couch. Amen.
Amen.
I'm just so proud of you. So before we go tonight, is there anything that I did not go in my messages to ask you? I think we went over some, that and some, did we?
Yeah, I think we went over a pretty good
pretty much. Well, being next week being Mother's Day, and we're going to take a little twist here, possibly if my other guest comes and be bold to share her message here at 6:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all please join me. We're gonna have a very, very special guest. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. You got to come and be here to hear that guest. And I want to make sure that you all get an opportunity to hear from my guests before we close here today about how you can get people to be encouraged to don't throw Daddy God out of the bathwater. Don't just say, well, he didn't answer me. Well, as Kimberly said, Prophet Kimberly said, I'm still struggling. I know this is a woman of faith. I know you're a woman of faith. I'm truly a woman of faith, but we go through. So is there something you want to close with to share with them, and then pray for those who may be struggling before we close?
Yes, ma'am. How do you not throw God away? So sometimes when I go back to that particular scenario, now my irrational thinking, I had thrown God away. But it wasn't until later, and as I continue to share this story, that I actually realized I didn't throw God away, because even when I had the irrational thinking, I was still talking to God. I was still asking him why. And I really believe to this day that is why God saved me. That's why he allowed it to happen the way that he had. Because even though I stated certain ways, I was still calling on him. But my mental state, my irrational thinking, was assuming that I had threw God out. But I was still speaking to him. I was still asking questions. I was still asking for forgiveness for what I was about to do. So I didn't throw him out at that moment. But in the midst of it, you couldn't have told me that I felt like God was out. So the thing is, mentally we throw God out. But environmentally, God is always present. So we can't throw him out anyway. But it's more so the way that our mental state is set up, the way our rational thinking is set up, and our feelings, our thought process. And we have to be very, very careful, because it can be subtle. And we will start to think that God is not here. He's not listening. He does not hear us. He's not answering our prayers. But at the end of the day, we got to remember that God is omnipotent. He's omnipresent.
That's right.
He's always around us. The Holy Spirit is not going anywhere. It's our thoughts that are removed off of him.
That's correct.
So he's there. He's definitely there. And he hears you. He hears you.
We're going to close out with prayer. Just want to thank you for coming and being so intimate with me, because everybody kind of be like kind of hesitant to come. Dr. Murphy just saying all this crazy stuff. He's going, wow,
Yeah.
But what it is they just know I'm a realist. I don't have time for the fake. I don't even invite people on my couch that are fake.
Yeah.
Because I believe that those people who are coming are truly survivors. They've been cut, they bleed, they know how to yell, they know how to make sure and say, listen, you don't want to go there. Amen. And so that's why I invited you here, and I pray that those that are listening even now are being blessed by this message. So you want to pray us out?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm lying on God now. The guy started.
Amen. So you can just go ahead and pray. And so, Father, we thank you. We are in agreement for this prayer that she's praying here today, Daddy.
Father, we thank
Yes,
you for this
God.
message. We thank you for this time. Thank you for
Yes,
those that are
Father.
listening, Heavenly Father. And we ask you to lay your hand on the hearts of those that are still healing.
Yes.
Keep your arms around those that are still struggling, Jesus, and help them to understand and see, Lord, that you haven't went anywhere, Heavenly Father, but
Yes.
also as women, supporting women, Heavenly Father, that we can lift each other up, that we will
Yes.
continue to provide support, not just verbally, Heavenly Father, but physically as
Physically.
well.
Yes,
Heavenly
God.
Father, we may give a hug, that we may give love all over the place, all in the community, Heavenly
Yes,
Father,
Father.
as those that need it, Heavenly Father. For those that are struggling, Heavenly Father, send somebody to knock on their door.
In
Lord,
the
send
name
them
of
a bowl of
Jesus.
soup, send them a card, or
Yes.
send them something that is evident that your hand is still on their
Yes,
situation, that you're
God.
still in the
Quickly,
midst of their
Father.
wind, that your wind is still moving north, south, east, and
Yes,
west, Heavenly Father,
God.
that you don't stop blowing, you don't stop thundering, Heavenly Father. Lord, you know our needs. You know our hearts. You know our struggles.
Yes,
You know our
Father.
pain. You know our questions. Heavenly Father, you know our mental state before we even get there.
Yes, Father.
And I pray that your blood continues to cover
In the
each and
name
every
of
one of our
Jesus.
homes. In the name of Jesus, Heavenly Father.
Yes, Father.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for
We
your
thank you,
love.
Lord.
Thank you for being you,
Thank
God.
you, Father.
Thank you for helping us to understand, Heavenly Father, that you're always present
Yes,
in the
Father.
midst of our needs.
Yeah,
In
Lord.
Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, it is
Amen.
so. And as always, as I say, we are covered in the blood. Now, guess what? I shut the gates by the apostolic authority that's vested in me. You hear me? If you're dealing with suicidal thoughts, if you're making a decision that you don't want to be here no more, by the power and the blood of Jesus, I shut the gates of death and hell from your life even now. And I open heaven of life and abundance, that you hear the voice of God and no other voice that you will obey. In Jesus' name. We will see you all later. I sure hate I can't see y'all on Facebook. I'm going to close YouTube. Maybe I may be able to see y'all. We're going to close it now.